Welcome to another podcast at the current situation at Manchester United. I'll be going into a few housekeeping notes in regards to Manchester United. And in the second half of this video podcast, I'll be covering the time spent by a player that used to be at Manchester United, what he was like at Manchester United, and etc. But first of all, I want to go into the preview of the Roma match in regard to the EuroLeague tomorrow in the semi-finals. Um, First of all, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made some interesting comments in regarding to Roma because I guess the manager or some other representative of Roma basically made some I wouldn't say it was totally disrespectful comments, but Ole say, yo, I know you had the best of intentions. Basically, I know you had the best of intentions when you were like, proceeding those types of comments to me. But I'm gonna get into it so I could give you more flesh on the matter. So it says here that give me a second because this computer is slow. It usually is in the morning. It's very early in the morning on my end. But it says here that this computer is so slow. Yes, Ole, I meant no disrespect with Roma comments. So I guess it's kind of a tussle, tug and war. But this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said. So he's basically saying he has insisted that he made no disrespect towards Roma after comments he made about the club. I wonder what comments he made about the club because, bro, this is a semi-finals that you're in, a two-legged semi-finals that you're in, and this is not the time to be playing roly-poly in terms of speech. There's a time to be tactful with your verbiage of words, and there's a time to be, or I should say this now, to be kind of open. Because guys, persons can take words the wrong way if it is said in a different light, a different nature, or in a different. People can people can um people can take it differently. So you might say it in a way that you expect people to see it, but persons are not going to have your way of thought process because you're not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I'm going to get into it, bro, because you know you're kind of playing the fool right now. But in regards to Roma, I'm just going to give my brief notes on Roma before I get into what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer basically said in his comments about Roma. Roma is not doing the best in Italy, okay? And they have been an average side in Italia. So that being said, I know that the EuroLeague is a different gravy in regarding to the Serie A. So a dumbass would figure out that Roma is trying to prioritize the EuroLeague because they see this as a chance to win the trophy. So basically, you could say Roma is like the Italian version equivalent to Arsenal. Period. Arsenal is in the semi-finals against Villarreal, who is not too bad in the La Liga. So we are in second place in the league. Roma, not so much in the top four. I'm not sure if that is exact, but they're not doing so well in the league. Villarreal is out of the top three, that's for certain. Arsenal is not near the top four, but given those opponents, we have no excuse to use. So I find it very interesting that Ole, okay, this is what the man said. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has downplayed claims that he disrespected Roma ahead of Thursday's EuroLeague semi-finals first leg against the Serie A club. Because he was asked about, Roma fans putting up posters about him in the training ground. So I guess he was asked about that because persons were like saying, who is this Norwegian manager of Manchester United? I never heard of this guy before. What is his claim to fame in football? Oh, he was the one that scored the winner in the 2000, not 2000, in the 1999 Champions League final against Bayern Munich. But what has he done afterwards? Other than scoring over 100 goals off the bench for United, what is his claim to fame in football? What has he won as a manager? Where is he in the hierarchy of elite managers? That is what the Roma fans were basically saying. So, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer basically say, yo, I don't know them and I haven't seen them play. Bro, if you're saying those type of comments, you're kind of opening up the door for not only criticisms to come your way, but things can go ugly if the first leg doesn't go in our favor. The fans of Roma are basically saying, we don't know who this Norwegian nigga is, and you're taking it upon yourself to say, well, I don't know them either, and I don't know how they play. I don't know their style of play. But you, as a manager, you don't have no style of play either. So you guys kind of in the same mixing bowl altogether. So you don't know the Roma style of play. You don't know how they play. You don't know them by name, but you have no claim to fame in terms of Manchester United's style of play. So you guys kind of playing, you guys kind of tangoing at the same time. It takes two to tango. So I just find these comments interesting, bro. Because you basically saying, yo, I know they had the best of intentions. They don't know a brother like me. I was the one that scored the goal in the final, the winning goal in the final of 90, me and 2000, of 1999. So they don't know me, but I'm the winner of the treble in 1999. In Champions League Diamonds of 1999. Put respect on my name, nigga. So, but okay, well, this he said he has watched them, but he hasn't analyzed. He hasn't watched them more than enough to give them like a large sense of difference or respect. So he's not going to say, okay, he has said he has watched them, but not to the degree of okay, they're a good side. He hasn't watched them all together. Some of us have watched certain matches sporadically, but wouldn't say we watch them on a regular basis or religiously or frequently. So basically, that is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is saying, which I find interesting. But in regards to injuries, there's a few injuries. Solskjaer confirms huge injury boost for Man United ahead of Roma clash. Now, this is a chance for us to win a trophy. This is our only chance to win a trophy this season. We have bottled it in the Premier League. We have bottled it in the FA Cup. We have lost to City in the Carabao Cup. Not that we had a chance anyway, but we lost. I know we're going to concede another loss to City in the league. So, all that being considered, we only have this chance to win a trophy. This is Solskjaer's third season at United. United has been, well, since forever, but Solskjaer has been here since 2018. Okay? He hasn't won a trophy for us ever since. He hasn't won any trophy for us, period. Not no friendly trophy, not no charity trophy, nothing. Not even a cup of tea he has won for Manchester United. So he's trophyless for Manchester United. So we are in the semi-finals to not only win against Roma, but to win the EuroLeague itself. This is our chance to lay hands on a trophy. Players are trophy starved at Manchester United. Players that came in of post 2018, because 2018 I think was the last time we won a trophy. Hold on. No, it was 2017 we last won a trophy. So players that came in after 2018 are kind of starved. They don't know what it's like to hold a trophy. This is me. So we have to go for the EuroLeague, beat Roma. I'm not going to really get into the depth of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comments because I just think that's just whatever. But in terms of the injuries, he has confirmed that Rashford, he was speaking of Rashford, In regards to, I think he said that Rashford is fit. Yeah, he has confirmed that Rashford is fit for tomorrow, which is interesting. Because again, if we don't play Rashford tomorrow or even start him or don't play him at all, then we're in big trouble because we need goals. Mason Greenwood, if he's playing as the lone centre forward, which I don't think he'll be tomorrow, things might look dull for him if he's playing as a centre forward tomorrow. He's not a centre forward at the moment. He was a good centre forward in the academy, but in professional football, he's not ready for that role as yet. He's still in his diapers. So as far as I'm concerned, my man needs to be staying on the right wing for now, so that Daniel James doesn't even see the starting level for tomorrow. Secondly, with the we don't have pacey players aside from Rashford. Luke Shaw is fast, but Pogba can jog, but we don't have enough players that can exploit or counter when Roma lose possession of the ball. And we're not really that very good in terms of build up, considering that we don't really start our best midfielders like Donny van de Beek or with Paul Pogba, with Bruno Fernandes. Those three players, if they start all together, best believe that chances will be created. So, yeah. My starting 11 is. Hold on. My starting 11 is David De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof. I don't want to see Alec Axel Tuan-CB in the first leg at least. Harry Maguire. These burps, man. At left back, one side of me is saying Alex Telles and another side is saying Luke Shaw. I'm going to just go Luke Shaw, bro, because we cannot make any mistakes at this moment in time in the semi-finals. Maybe it's just me playing on the safe shoulder, but I just don't see us. I don't want us to concede. And this is no disrespect to Alex Telles, but bro, we have no room to concede or make mistakes. So I must slap in Luke Shaw at left back. Midfield, which is very questionable at the moment. Scott McTominay and Fred will be starting as the double pivot. Number 10 is Bruno Fernandes. Rashford on the left wing. I'm going for it. Cavani up top and Mason Greenwood on the right. I don't think Paul Pogba will be starting tomorrow because I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to try. He's going to try lock shop at least in the first half to see how things go in regards to Roma's camp. So he wants to play it safe in the first half, I reckon, before he just goes for it or at least plays decent football in the first half. So he's going to play pragmatically to probably see what Roma has up their sleeve. So again, that's my opinion. But to finish the starting of Cavani up top, Rashford, Mason Greenwood as the front three, Bruno Fernandes as the number 10, Fred and Scott McTominay as the double pivot. The back four includes Shaw, Maguire, Victor Lindelof, and Wan-Bissaka. And David De Gea will be in the goal. So that's my starting level. Leave your starting levels in the comments section below. It could be Lee Grant in goal. It could be Phil Jones in defense. It could be who knows. But something caught my eye I needed to address just for a second before I get into the main meat of this video podcast. Give me a second. Yes, Anthony Martial's only route of Man United mapped out after disinterested claim. Martial is a funny one because Luis Saha was basically saying that Martial should remain at United if the club cannot replace him with a better alternative. What makes you, dude, you played at Man United for a good amount of years. What makes you think that the club can replace Anthony Martial? If the club can replace Ruud van Nistelrooy, what in the world would you why don't you think United can replace Martial? You think Martial is on the same, hold on. You think Martial is on the same level as Ruud van Nistelrooy, Berbatov, Robin van Persie, Eric Cantona? Come on, bro, you know better than that. But I see that you're French, so you want this French connection in your confirmation bias. So you don't want to say, well, I think Marcel should be removed from Manchester United. So, uh, I don't want I don't want Marcel to just leave like that, bro. Marcel is a fun one because Marcel has this position as if he stays at Man United, he doesn't care. Again, this is my opinion. And if he leaves United or he stays at United, he doesn't care. Again, Marcel is one of those players where it's hard to study. It's hard to read him because his body language is very unreadable. You can't tell if he's happy. You can't tell if he's sad. Well, you could tell that he's sad, but or it reads that he's sad, but you don't know if he's really sad, depressed, or whatever. So it's hard to read Martial. Because person have been saying, man, I don't think Martial is interested in staying at Man United because he just doesn't look like he could care less or whatever. He's not in the form of, he hasn't replicated his last season form. So, I mean, Martial is getting good money at United, bro. And he has a beautiful wife, bro. So I don't think Martial would really care if he's a young dude and he needs to assert uh belief in himself, but I mean, Haaland can replace Martial, yes. Kylian Mbappe is not coming to United, so do not even entertain those thoughts, please. But let's get into the main video, the main meat of this video podcast. Cause you guys know that I'm out of school at the moment, so I just want to try to make an advancement of my video channel, my YouTube video channel, giving you guys more content on some players, the latest news in regarding to Manchester United. Give me a second. Man, I'm kind of thirsty. So I want to give you guys some feedback, some commentary on some players that used to play for United, players that currently play for United, and what was the stamp they left on Manchester United fans when they left Manchester United. And in 2007, Manchester United won the Premier League for the first time since 2004. Because when Mourinho came into England, Mourinho's dominance with Chelsea was very prominent for at least 2 to 3 years. And it took Sir Alex Ferguson to neutralize the strategy of Jose Mourinho up until 2007. Jose Mourinho won the Premier League for 2004, 2005, and 2005, 2006. So, given Chelsea's 2 year of dominance in England, Sir Alex Ferguson needed to change up a few stuff. And unfortunately, Ruud van Nistelrooy wasn't on the best of terms with Manchester United, whether it was with Sir Alex Ferguson or with certain players like teammates. Because Ruud van Nistelrooy was saying, yo, why is Ronaldo, this young youth, cutting inside and taking shots? Bro, cross the ball to me. I'm the center forward. I'm the man that should be scoring all the goals. Yes, I'm the big bear. Feed the big bear in the box. Don't be taking these goals for yourself, bro. You're a young youth. You need to humble yourself and pass the ball. That was basically his, Ruud van Nistelrooy's thought process. And Sir Alex Ferguson knew he needed to change up his style of play because prior to 2007, um, Ruud van Nistelrooy was the focal point of Manchester United's attack, with Wayne Rooney somewhat slotting as a second striker. If not, he was playing alongside with Ruud. But Rooney was somewhat as a secondary striker to Ruud, with the wingers of Giggsy and Ronaldo, with the infamous midfield of Scholesy and Keane. And Sir Alex Ferguson knew he had great players, but there was something in his self-play that was not giving them the edge to win the Premier League. Because Jose Mourinho came in the Premier League with the 4-3-3 style of play. And because most clubs were not used to that type of style of play, Jose Mourinho took over England at least for 2 years, won the Premier League back to back, with a world-class defense record of only conceding 15 goals in the Premier League in one season. One season. In his first season or second season, I believe. That I don't think that will be replicated again. But so things needed to change. And when United won the Premier League, they had a fluid front three of Rooney, Ronaldo, and Luis Saha wasn't really a starter. He wasn't really a starter because see, Sir Alex Ferguson was trying to revolutionize. He was trying to adapt to the emergence of the Premier League because the Premier League was becoming more fast and fluid. And with Ruud up top alone, he knew that he was not going to get into the zone of winning trophies, at least no big significant trophies, because that type of game was passing his time and prime slowly. So Alex Ferguson needed to adapt his style of play system that he can implement in the players. So he had a front three of Rooney, Ronaldo, Larson was off the bench. He was on loan, I think. Solskjaer was off the bench, and Saha, yes, Saha was a part of it. But Saha would drop when it was counter-attack, and Rooney and Ronaldo would run in forward. Now to the main meat of the matter. In 2007, in the summer of 2007, a certain player was signed for Manchester United for 25 million. For 25 mil. And some persons saw this player coming into England, not knowing what was his capabilities like. Because although he came from a club that was known for, giving world class, I'm missing the word right now. Why am I missing the word right now? Hate that when I miss the word right now. They were basically growing up, or see, I'm missing the word. I know I'm missing the word. Players that came from that academy grew up to be good players, like Figo, Ronaldo, yeah, and that is the Sporting Lisbon club in Portugal. So when this player was signed, persons had skepticism regarding this player. They were like, what is he going to bring to United? And it was kind of funny because, given what I just told you guys, the front three was becoming more fluid, fast, and more attacking. More intrinsic. So one player would not be in one position. One player would be in this position. In another situation, they would be in this position. In another situation, it would be in this position. Because prior in Ruud's time, Ruud would be getting most of the goals. He was a big bear. But with the front three, Sir Alex Ferguson wanted to share the goals with the three forwards altogether. So he didn't want to have one big bear up top that would be the contributing factor of goals. He wanted other players to not only assist goals but to score goals themselves. So when this signing was made in 2007, persons believe that yes, he's going to be a very good player, but at what cost though? Where is he going to play? Yes, he's a winger. He's from Portugal as well. So I guess people are just probably trying to sign the next Figo. Is he going to be the next Ronaldo? And when he was signed at United in 2007, he was on the mark. The player I'm speaking about is Luis Nani. This player, persons were saying he was, and I found it funny because him and Ronaldo was somewhat, I wouldn't say it was a large age gap or large age deficit, but they were basically, um, they were basically shaking hands in terms of age somewhat. Is me. And when United fans saw how this player in the name of Luis Nani played, person were saying, okay, this dude, I mean, us having Ronaldo, yes, Ronaldo won play of the year in 2007. He was one of the best players in the Premier League in 2006, 2007. And you bring this other dude from Portugal, this other dude from Sporting Lisbon, he's another winger. Yeah, right. We're going to be fire next season. This is the reason to be fired for next season. We have wingers for days. Ronaldo, Nani, Giggsy can put in a shift. Giggsy was adapting his game more of a inside midfielder now. So this was not the Giggs of the early 90s or late 90s, isn't me? So yes, this player when he came in, he was on the mark. He scored a couple goals in the preseason. And with his style of play, person were saying this guy is going to make a name for Manchester United. Is me. Um so refreshing, man. So yeah, so refreshing. So when Luis Nani came into the side, it was very apparently clear that person saw he had very great potential. And person were kinda getting mixed up because they were saying, why is this guy a clone? Is this guy like a style of play twin to that of Ronaldo? Why is he playing like Ronaldo? Why is he trying to emulate Ronaldo? Why is this guy trying to be like Ronaldo? Why this guy can't be his unique self? God made everybody special, bro. God didn't make everybody to be the same persons, but there was something different in regards to that because see, Ronaldo, if you notice at that time, Ronaldo was evolving. Ronaldo was not a traditional winger from the right hand side that would beat a player and put a ball into the box. He was getting balls in the box and scoring. That's the player that Ronaldo was evolving into, and he was scoring free kicks. This is me. So Ronaldo, when Giggs was trying to adapt into midfield, Sir Alex Ferguson moved Ronaldo on the left hand side to cut in and score because he saw that Ronaldo had a good shot on him. Is me. But with the emergence of Luis Nani in 2007, Nani would start on the right hand side because Nani not only could score but he could cross. Nani was not as selfish as Ronaldo. So yeah, my man scored a good amount of long range goals. He was getting assists and he was contributing in his self play as well. So persons were saying, okay, this dude is actually good. He scored a long range goal. He scored a couple of long range goals actually. One against Spurs, against Derby County. His back flick celebrations is kind of questionable. But hey, he's scoring goals. He's beating players. He's taking souls. He's scoring goals. He's not. He's just playing with a free spirit. He's free to express himself. And following the following season, he got a good amount of goals, right? But it wasn't as much. Again, it was his first season, so he's not that you would put a lot of expectation on a new signing like Nani. But in his second season, he was improving his game. And by improving his game, he was becoming more of a fan favorite. Because again, this his second season was 2008, 2009. In his first season, Ronaldo stole the show, which was 2007, 2008. Because that's where Ronaldo, that's Ronaldo's peak at United. In his Louis Nani's first season. I can't speak English in the early morning, so you have to go excuse me on that. Is it me? Um so yeah, Nani was becoming a very fan fave. His goals were crucial. He's becoming a fan fave. People were liking his personality on the pitch. This guy had potential, and person were seeing him as a second version of Cristiano Ronaldo. They were from Portugal. They were from the same academy, from the same previous club in Portugal, and through their style of play, it was so mesmerizing, so magnetic, so orgasmic that fans were like in shock. Persons to United fans today are not seeing that type of football. They don't know what that football was like in the late 2000s. Right now we have Daniel James and Mason Greenwood and Ahmed. Well, Ahmed Diallo is new, so I'm not going to really put him in the mix. But and he doesn't play that much games for United. But we have right wingers and wingers in the name of Rashford, Mason Greenwood, and Daniel James. Now Marcel can do a job on the left wing, but none of them, not even Marcus Rashford, is not nearly in comparison to the self-play of Luis Nani in the late 2000s. My father is on the phone. His style of play is not comparable with me. None of them is Mason Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, and not even Daniel James. None of them, their style of play is not comparison. No. It's a very mismatch when you compare them to Luis Nani's style of play, whether it was on the right wing or on the left wing. My man was taking long range shot and scoring from 40, 30 yards. He could take free kicks and he could do rabonas. You don't see that type of self play or freestyle of type in the Premier League in this era of football. That is a lost art that has been drained out. Right now, it's all about numbers. It's all about stats. It's not about what you're seeing on the pitch. So you could have the worst 90 minutes ever, but in stoppage time, in 2 minutes stoppage time, you get a tap in from 2 yards. Woo! But I'm still the top scorer, although I play poor for 90 minutes. That is what football is like today. Persons are not really they're very suppressed when it comes on to watching good football, especially in England. So when Nani came in, and after his first season when he came in, persons were getting an impression, an indelible impression on Nani. In his second season, it was no different. He was improving. He was getting goals. He was beating players, taking souls. He was breaking persons' ankles. I don't even think they're still recovering to this day. A couple of them are still in coma. But Nani was becoming a player, one of those players where even when Ronaldo wasn't playing, this dude still embodied the presence and statue of Ronaldo, whether it was on the wings. Yeah, whether it was on the wing, because you guys watched that clip with Nani. It was against Arsenal in the FA Cup, and Nani had the ball. He was kind of dribbling at first, and he was kind of keeping up the ball with his legs. And some player, I think it was MBWay, or I don't think it was Yaya, no, Yaya Toure. I don't think it was Toure, but it was a black player that was chasing him. And then he was like heading the ball. And the player not fall over, man, like someone just shooting from 60 yards or something. And he was just this. That's the type of football that we miss in England. That type of football is not renowned in England no more. It's all about pace merchants, stats. Persons are very starved of good football in England. That type of football in England is becoming non-existent anymore. La Liga, it happens in Syria A, that's retirement league. But in Ligue 1 in France, that happens with Neymar, Mbappe, and other players like the Memphis Depay, other players because they mesmerize good football. They entertain the fans. It's not about stats for them really. They can have no stats in the first 5 games of a season, but because of how they play, they create space for others and assist, or even get no assists. Their style of play still embodies football, even with no stats to their name. And Nani was no different. Nani was not the exception to that. When Nani was playing, bro, even if United lost or even drew, you knew that Nani was going to entertain. He would entertain he would entertain for those that were lame, for those that were nerds. He would entertain for everybody. And persons were saying this guy is going to be a legend for Manchester United. This guy is going to be, he's going to be the next Eric Cantona. So, unfortunately, when Ronaldo took his leave to Real Madrid in 2009, my man had boots to fill. Now, Sir Alex Ferguson, God bless Sir Alex Ferguson. We all love Sir Alex Ferguson, right? But we know that Sir Alex Ferguson has a few loopholes into his game. He's not really God Almighty, but he's mighty when it comes down to Manchester United. But my man thought Antonio Valencia from Wigan would replace Ronaldo after his contribution at Manchester United. I'm not sure if if Sir Alex Ferguson signed Valencia to replace Ronaldo itself, or just try sign him to replace a winger in itself, the position. But persons were not satisfied, and persons were looking to Nani to replace his compatriot. Persons were seeing Nani to fulfill and fill out the boots of Ronaldo that he left at United. And with such pressure, with such expectations for Nani, Nani was not a player that had the best fitness levels. Like in the first draft of the season when Ronaldo left, he got an injury and he kept him out for at least the start of the season. And you see, Nani is one of those players where, although he's very naturally talented, he's like a stove that you just bought from from the nearest local grocery store or furniture. I don't know if, well, you could say that a stove is a furniture, isn't me? But Nani is like a stove. When you turn on a stove, it's going to take a while to be heated. It's not going to be like a light switch that you just flick on. Nani is not a light switch. Nani is a stove that is going to take a while for him to get back into form. And again, this is not a dude that is contrary to good football. He is in line with good football. He's naturally gifted when it comes on to dribbling and beating players. But see, when he's coming from an injury or when he's coming from bad form, it's going to take him a while to get into good form. He's going to have that stove turning on effect. So he's not going to really just come from injury and get the ball rolling at the first whistle or the first minute. It's going to take him a few games to get into the groove so that he can move into the main form that he was in previously. See, And this is another thing, because Nani, despite his individual abilities, his individual capabilities, creating space, beating players for pace, Nani was one of those players that was very inconsistent. And so Alex Ferguson was very wary of Nani because in some crucial games, all you want to start your best players to get goals and etc. Nani was not being started by Sir Alex Ferguson in some crucial games. Whether it was for tactical, well, I know it was for tactical reasons, but Sir Alex Ferguson was not really bought on the thought of starting Nani in some games. Whether it was he didn't think that Nani had the discipline to track back, or he didn't think that Nani was disciplined enough to be somewhat defensive, and that is why Jason Park was starting over Nani in some games, because Jason Park did not only have the discipline, but he had the ability to defend and attack at the same time. There's a reason why we call Jason Park three lungs. This dude was like a mitochondria. This dude was like a powerhouse in Asian version. He cannot be tired easily. So he might not have the natural gifts of beating players of our natural talent as Nani. What he did have was the discipline, the stamina, and the factor of defending and tracking back. You see me? So Nani was like, bro, why aren't you starting me? I'm a good player. I can beat players. I can create chances. I can score goals. Don't you want goals? Goals win you games, doesn't it? So why aren't you starting me? Why aren't you believing me? Why aren't you not believing in me? I'm not a defender. You need goals, bro. You need goals. So with that being said, bro, Nani, I want to keep this on an hour because I don't want this to be a long eulogy. But Nani, yes, he was getting goals. Yes, he was beating players, but there was a cloud of skepticism still looming over the heads of Manchester United fans because they were saying, yes, this guy is good, but he's still inconsistent. Yes, this guy is good, but he's type of a wishy-washy type of player. Yes, he's good, but is he going to be warm today? Is he going to be cold today? Or is he going to be lukewarm? What is the temperature this guy is going to play at? Person we're asking him, because Nani is one of those players. Well, I mean, if you're a naturally talented player, you need to be unpredictable so that you can beat a player. But it's another thing when you're unpredictable in your consistency of good form, and that's one of the reasons why Sir Alex Ferguson wasn't really starting man. You see me? Because yes, he had the individual abilities, but he just didn't, at least in his second season or even in his third season, which was 2009 2000, he got goals, but it wasn't as much. It didn't tick off the box based on satisfaction. Goals not satisfactory. Assists not really. It's just self play. It was very good, but Sir Alex Ferguson wanted numbers. He wanted man to lead the line with Rooney, Berbatov, um, other players. He needed that man to, with Valencia, of course, because we can't leave out of Valencia. But with Valencia and Nani, because Valencia was more of the attacking of the other wingers in Jason Park and Valencia. Valencia and Jason Park were more defensive. Nani was your flair player that was very expansive in the attacking third. He was very flashy with his self play, and he wasn't not nearly the best in terms of his defense, his display. So in the fourth season, which was 2009, 2010, 2011, United woke up to a star that we were craving for since the since the removal of Ronaldo. Nani in his fourth, 2007, 2008, 2008, 2009, 2009, 2010, 2010. Yeah, in his fourth season. Yeah, I was correct. In his fourth season, Nani was unleashed from shackles, from his form shackles. Nani, we saw a different side. We know again. We knew that Nani was a very good player, but this season, bro, this was the time where Nani was getting into his own. This is where Nani started to hit form. It took him 4 seasons to hit form. Like I told you guys a couple minutes ago, Nani is a stove type of player. He's going to warm slowly. He's going to hit the pot slowly. He's not just going to come into one club after his debut or on his debut and just get the ball rolling like that. It's going to take him some time to get the ball rolling. And in his 4th season, United saw a reason to believe in this guy to give United the mantle to bring United forward to another trophy charge in the league title. Because Chelsea won the Premier League in 2009-2010, hold on, under the guidance of Carlo Ancelotti. So with Rooney being in his prime, Berbatov being in his prime, Giggs was doing time with Scholes because they were past their prime, but they were still good. Nani was embodying a flair type of player that was not only scoring goals but assisting. He was beating players, taking souls. Dude, when he was beating players, you could see the soul just go back to heaven. When he was beating players, it was that bad. He was entangling dudes. He was melting players on the floor. He was taking free kicks. He was scoring goals. Person saw Nani as the guy that they were expecting when Ronaldo left. Now it took a while after a season, but again, Nani is a player that's going to slowly come into his own. Is me. So in the 2010-2011 season, United embodied a different Nani, but still there was skepticism over his injuries. Because there is a time, he suffered from a broken leg, a broken leg he suffered in that season. And you guys know what is up. He was out for like 3 or 4 weeks. And even when he came back, it took him a while to stir the pot again. This is me. And given his form, bro, given his contribution, what he did on and off the ball, on the wings, up front. Because see, Nani was not one of those wingers that could just only play wing. Nani could play as a second striker. Nani could play as a number 10. Nani could play on both wings. Nani was an all-round attacker. That season he was on form. To this day, we have not seen a winger that embodied the brilliance and performance of Nani ever since that season 2010-2011. To this day, that form has not been replicated on the wings. As good as Rashford has been for the past 2 to 3 seasons, it's a mismatch. Not only on paper, but on the pitch. It's a mismatch. That's a total disrespect to Nani. The Nani of that season was very, I wouldn't say it was, in terms of statistics, it wasn't as near as Ronaldo in his best season in 2007-2008. But even in his own rights, Nani was a very good player. Very, very attacking winger. So despite his broken leg, he still won the young player of the year. And he won the young player of the year. And he was included in the Premier League's team of the year. That dude was outstanding. But see, in the final of the Champions League, persons were questioning why is Nani not starting. Because Nani is probably, at the bare minimum, he's like not really a best player because Berbatov was scoring. Rooney was playing well, but in terms of goals, Rooney wasn't really at it because Rooney had a few speculations with his contract. That's a different story. But Nani was somewhat in the second, he was probably the second best United attacker. No, I would say the best attacker because Nani contributed assists to Berbatov. And without Nani's assist, Berbatov wouldn't be scoring. So I would say even Nani was United's best attacker then. But in the final of the Champions League against Barcelona, persons were saying, why is not Nani starting? And it goes back to what I've been saying a couple minutes ago. Nani is not a player. If you're trying to play a final, or if you're trying to play a final, or if you're going to if you're playing against one of the best teams across the board, if you know that you're like the black horse, or you're like the second fiddler in that race, you're like second base, you're going to find it in your best interest not to start as a player that might be flaring on eyes, but he has no defensive work rate. You're not going to be starting that player. For tactical reasons, you're not going to be starting that player. And that reigns true in the final against Barcelona. My man hold bench. So he didn't start. He didn't start. And in that game, Jason, like I told you guys, Jason Park and Valencia are defensive wingers that can play very good, but they are very disciplined. And those two players have started. This is me. So Alex Ferguson needed Jason Park to mark up Messi, because Messi was all over the pitch. And it was a prime Messi. So you know that a prime Messi, if you give Messi 2 seconds, you're not gonna catch him. So he had to start Jason Park to man mark Messi, and Valencia to play as a secondary right back to that of I think Fabio was starting at right back in the starting 11. Or Rafa, no, it was Fabio. Yeah, it was Fabio. But when Nani came on into the second half, I just told you guys, Messi is not a player should be given any room to or space to. I don't know who tell Nani to go mark up or try to take the ball from Messi on the right wing. Because that goal, that dribble led to the third goal against United that beat Manchester United in the final. My man did what Nani did do. See, it was very good that my English is so, but I can't even find words to express how good that move was. What Nani did to players in the Premier League was what Messi did to Nani in that moment. In that one and only moment. He like fainted him and Nani went this. No, he fainted him, Nani went this way and Messi went that way. And that created the third goal that won Barcelona their their second Champions League trophy in 3 years. Is me. So yeah, that gave certification. That gave fans an implication that this guy should not be starting when it comes on to defensive, etc. and etc. But still, despite that, Nani was voted as a Ballon d'Or candidate. This is me, not only Rooney but Nani as well. You see me? So even on the right hand side, on the left hand side, Nani was still beating players. And he was, dude, I can go in a long story of a sidebar, but this dude was beating players, he was scoring goals. He was like the modern version of Manny Garrincha of Brazil. So in his fifth season, again, I'm going to be wrapping up now, it wasn't any different. Nani was getting goals and he was getting man of the match performances. That build up in the Charity Cup against Man City, that build up with him, Nani, cleverly, with Nani, you can't say him, Nani, because Nani is him. So it's Nani, Rooney, cleverly, their build up to either equalize or take the lead against Man City was very mesmerizing. That was Barcelona prime 2009 good football. 1-2 intricacy, 1-2 pass, find space, Nani with a dink, equalizer. And he got a second goal which beat Vincent Company and he beat Joe Hart to get the second goal to beat City. And yeah, my man was scoring long range goals against Chelsea and other sides. So it wasn't any different. But still, Nani suffered injuries, bro. Like he had a metatarsal injury and he wasn't able to play for like 2 months. You see me? And like I told you guys, Nani is not a player that's just going to come from injury and get the ball rolling in terms of playing good football. It's going to take him a while to heat up. You see me? So yeah, he got a couple chips against Arsenal, Everton. He was still mesmerizing. Ashley Young came in that season. You see me? To add more competition to the left wing position because Nani was a very injury prone player. Not only was he inconsistent, but he was very injury prone. You see me? And in the 2012-2013 season, hold on, I have to take some water for this because this is where things kind of get interesting. Because I'm wrapping up right now. There's a lot of players that we have seen play football that had very good, mesmerizing talent on the ball. A lot of players we have seen, like Ronaldinho, Kaká, to name a few Brazilians, Ronaldo, Dalima, and even players that didn't play in Brazil or didn't play for Brazil, but they were players that were very talented in their style of play. They were very mesmerizing on the ball. But there was one thing that always stuck into our minds when we saw those players, whether they played at that type of level, is why didn't they do it for a long time? Why wasn't the longevity of their football long enough? Why wasn't that self play very consistent over a 3 season span, a 4 season span, considering how Messi plays for like a long time, Ronaldo, you name those types of players. Why isn't that form very consistent? Why is it that after a certain period you start to look like an average winger? You start to look like players that lost their mojo. Persons asked that question to Robinho whether he was at Real Madrid in his last season or at Man City, because Robinho was past it in his late 20s. In their late 20s, players should be getting in their prime, not out of their prime. So my man had it backwards. But players, talented players, and I did a video in terms of Mason Greenwood proves why natural players have no motivation. I can't remember the title, but I'm going to leave the link below so you guys can check it out. But I basically say that natural players, they might be very talented, but they're not going to have that motivation to continue that type of form for a long time. Ronaldinho ruled the world of football for 2 to 3 years, since 2004 to 2006. Is me, Ronaldo was one of the best strikers in his early 20s. Yes, he was a very good striker during his Real Madrid years, but he was not the same striker he was at with Inter Milan or at Barcelona. It's not even a comparison. So persons, when they saw talented players, they were wondering, why is this guy not continuing this form as the previous seasons? Why is he playing ping pong right now on the football pitch? Why is he not having that same form? What is happening in his personal life that's having him to play contrary football to what he's used to playing? And in the 2012-2013, this type of player in Nani was not expected. This player was contrary to the previous performances of Luis Nani. Because again, we all knew that Nani was very inconsistent. Sometimes he was very consistently inconsistent. But this season, we knew that Nani was, and hold on, we knew that Nani, oh crap, see, My internet is not stable. So, yeah. But we knew that even when Nani was probably in his mid 20s or at the age of like 26, in that season, we knew that Nani wasn't. We just did not say this same Nani in 2012, 2013. Because Van Persie was signed in, Kaga was brought in, certain players from the academy was brought in. Welbeck was becoming more of a starter. Even before that season, he was becoming a starter. But yeah, he was coming into his own. Nick Powell was coming into his own. A youngster from the academy. Scalzi came back. But Nani was not the same Nani like previous seasons. Nani was not the same Nani. And this was a dude that was not even 27 as yet. He was not 27 as yet. And that season, he was not the same Nani. He was not. He scored like, how much goals he scored that season? He had one Premier League goal. And in this defense he didn't start as much, but even when he started, he wasn't playing that good. He played well against Chelsea with a dink in the Capital One Cup. He got a couple goals, but it was not the same. It wasn't the same, Nani. That form wasn't consistent or even non-existent. It wasn't the same. This dude was at United since 2007, bro. He had one world-class good season. That was in 2010, 2011. And after that season, especially when, well, I mean, he wasn't playing that well, but when he started against Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinal, I think it is round of 16 actually. Yeah, it was round of 16. Yeah, even in the round of 16, person was like he got sent off against Real Madrid. Persons said, "Yo, why is Nani getting sent off?" And it was a controversial act, but arguably that was his best highlight in that season when he got sent off against Real Madrid. That showed you how poor Nani was. Yes, he got a couple of goals, but it wasn't good enough. It was a different Nani that season. And that season, that Nani continued into the second season. Definitely things changed for the worse when Sir Alex Ferguson left house. He left house and brought in a person from Everton to take care in United's transition to post Sir Alex Ferguson era. And Nani, unfortunately, it 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 wasn't, his form wasn't there and his injuries didn't help the cause one bit. He didn't even score. Oh, he scored once. He didn't even score past 3 goals, if not 2 goals, after that season in 2013-14. And we knew that the spirit of Luis Nani prior to 2012 was not going to come back in the slightest. Need to wrap up. So wrapping up, United was wrapping up things with Nani, loaning him back to his homeboy club. Because persons were saying Nani is still young. He just renewed his contract. Is it best to just lose contact in just selling him? Is that going to make any sense? That's not good business, is it? You just signed a new contract. You just signed the dude a new contract. I want to sell him and he's not even 28 as yet. Yes, he's kind of in. He's not the best player he's been for like 3 years, but do you want to just sell him off like that? So he returned to his boyhood club on a loan from United, but things went for the worse. He was not the same Nani in his last 5 years at United. He was just a different player. Injuries didn't help the cause. His poor form consistently didn't help the cause. And because of that, he left Manchester United. Persons are having questions regarding to his time at Manchester United. Did he fulfill the mantle of Cristiano Ronaldo? Was he a success at United when Ronaldo left, even before Ronaldo left? Because even when Ronaldo was there, I think Ronaldo kind of lit a fire under his butt somewhat. Because it's like when you have a person that somewhat plays similar to you and you're trying to compete to see who is the best winger or who is the best boxer or who is the best sprinter because he's good as well as you are, but and you guys are good on the same pitch as well, and you have similarities to your sprinting style, your boxing style, and your winging, your self play style, if that makes sense. So yes, he had a competitive edge somewhat, and that probably gave him the enthusiasm to play well. But when Ronaldo left, he was the only winger that was, entertaining. No disrespect to Valencia, but Valencia is not that type of winger. And unfortunately, things had to cut loose with Nani. He was not the same player. He was not even 30 as yet, or 28 as yet. And we had to cut that umbilical cord so that we can move forward. Nani was a very inconsistent player. Nani was a failure at Manchester United. Yes, he was entertaining. Yes, he was enthralling. Yes, he was mesmerizing. He left players in dirt. He twisted up players' ankles. With his style of play, with his step overs, he could just loosen out the players' laces in their shoes. But that player was not very replicable. It wasn't very it's very memorable, but it wasn't consistent. And because of that, United had to sell him. Unfortunately. When you're not playing into the form that you used to play for, or unfortunately, you have to get sold. When Ronaldinho wasn't replicating his form that he did in 2005, 2006, Laporte, who was a president of Barcelona, he is right now because they re-elected him as president, he had to sell him. He told Messi that, yo, your boy Ronaldinho is going to get sold. He's out, he's unfit, he's been partying, he's not taking football seriously, his form is into question, his desires into question, his motivation is into question. We have to move him on, we have to sell him. And that's the same thing that happened to Luis Nani at Manchester United. There's questions that still looms over if Luis Nani fulfilled his potential at United. Not nearly. My prediction for the Roma match against Manchester United against Roma, because I'm not a Roma fan, is about 2-1 to Manchester United tomorrow. 2-1 to Manchester United tomorrow. I think we're going to see this one out. It's not going to be the best of football because Roma is going to try impose their will on us. So it's going to somewhat be a very interesting match. But yeah, leave your predictions down in the comment section below along with your predicted starting lineup. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll shout to you guys. Tell me guys this before I wrap up. Was Nani a success at Manchester? Be honest. If Nani was your favorite player at United, try to be objective. Don't be subjective, seeing things from your own point of view. Be objective. With all things considered, with his bad form, inconsistency, and injuries, his myriad of injuries, was this guy a success at United? Leave your honest comments below, and I'm happy enough to be reading them out in the next video. And I might do a match reaction tomorrow. I might do a match reaction tomorrow. So I'll show you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.